Hi guys, this is Chet here from Avion Technology here in the Chicagoland area. We are a digital agency that works with other digital agencies and helps them scale up. We also work with a lot of small businesses to help them scale up. In the last 20 odd years that we've been in existence, we have worked with more than 2,000 small businesses and have worked with a lot of small business owners. I think they're a fantastic community. I think there's a lot of hardworking heroes within that community, and so this is a series we call it Small Business Success. What is it? It's essentially just just sharing some wisdom, sharing just some vignettes about that we've kind of gleaned from working with all of these small businesses. Importantly, please do not take any of this as legal or financial advice. If you need anything like that, speak to a specialist, right? Today I'm going to talk about micro influencers. So small businesses, especially services-based small businesses, right, find it very hard to scale up. Usually they will have a trajectory which looks a little bit like this, right? So they'll have a really good start and then they'll plateau, right? A lot of services businesses are usually built around one person, or if it's like a law firm, there might be multiple partners, but they're not scalable like a SaaS business, for example, right? Or like like selling cars, which is highly commoditized and highly transactional, right? Most services business are kind of centered around one or a couple of people, and I often say it's like being a hamster on a treadmill, right? Because in a services business, no matter what, you have to show up to work every day, right? Period. So, the number one kind of pain point in all services business is always income, right? It's growth, it's lead gen. And a lot of times, especially if they're like under 500,000 a year, under 250,000 a year, these businesses often do not even have the resources to find salespeople who will go out and sell the service, right? What do you do? So I actually went through that situation back in 2016, 2017. And what worked for me actually was working with, they're called power partners, but I like to call them micro influencers, right? These are folks who have, a lot of influence within their network. Right? They have a lot of trust. They have a lot of validation within their network. And if you look around, your Chamber of Commerce could be a good place to find out about that. Your LinkedIn might be a good place to find out about that. But you'll find out these micro influencers. Go out and reach out to them, right? Because they'll actually be able to refer a lot of business your way. Actually, I've worked with this one gentleman, and now him and me are really good friends and colleagues. He's referred me so much business. And I met him like randomly at an event once in 2017, and it's just been amazing, right? So you never know whom you meet at these events, but I would definitely, if you are a small business who cannot afford hiring a full-time salesperson, but who wants to beat that pain point of stagnating growth, definitely look at micro influencers, right? So the first thing, like I said, is usually most of these folks, they occupy a niche, right? So they're sitting in a niche. Like this gentleman that I knew, he's worked with MSPs, right? Managed service providers, ID security, ID service providers for 30 years. So he has such an amazing position of influence, of authority within that niche. He can call people and put in a good word for you. And those people will come and buy your service without thinking twice, right? So most of these micro influencers will typically occupy a niche. Secondly, like I said, a lot of the people within their network trust them. These folks are usually in their late 40s, 50s, 60s. So they have a lot of years behind them, and so they have built an amazing network of folks who trust them, right? And because they've just been doing this for so long. Next is community engagement. I cannot kind of emphasize this enough. So the way I look at it, it's these concentric circles, right? So you have community, many communities build a city, many cities make a nation and many nations make the world, right? So community is like where it all starts from. So you have to be active within your community, especially if you're like a restaurant, if you're like a CPA, if you're a lawyer, you're a doctor. And I know for a lot of these people, especially the ones who have been to school, especially the ones who spent like 10 years, in school studying, their craft, it is so hard to go out there after you've put in 10 hours of work to actually go out and network. And believe me, nothing is more unnatural for a human being to go and network. So if you're one of those people who feels extremely uncomfortable networking, trust me, that's natural. It's so hard, right, to go out amongst like 50 people that you don't know and then make these cold introductions. But here's the deal, networking gets better, right? As you keep on doing it, you build the muscle memory for it. It's not, I've been doing it for the last 4 years. I still don't relish it, but I have developed a script. I have developed ways. Now I have developed some structure around it so that it's not as painful as it originally was. But if you are in any kind of service business, you have to engage within your community, period. And I usually say network for anywhere between 4 to 6 hours, right, to get the best results out of it. And the next is, again, it's scalability, right? So if you create a list of these 10 power partners, right, not all of them are going to get equal amount of business. There's always going to be outliers. It's this kind of bell curve distribution where you have like, a few folks who won't send any business your way and a few folks who send like a lot of business your way, and most of them are actually going to be in the middle of the bell curve, right? That's just normal, right? But what does happen is that the more people that you can kind of bring into that list of power partners, right, the more kind of advocates, the more kind of ambassadors you're going to have out there for your business, right? And that's always good. So definitely, if you're a small business struggling for growth, don't have the cash right now to go and find a salesperson, I would definitely give, getting a few micro influencers or ambassadors or advocates. And if you're a restaurant, right, if you have 30 people, anytime that person comes in, give him like free dessert or give him a free meal. That's usually all that they ask for, is like some amount of recognition or maybe like a finder's fee or something like that. But this arrangement typically works out very well. If you're in the services business, right, unfortunately, what comes after this is what is called the death spiral, right? So businesses typically have a life cycle of about 30 years, right? And it's like, first 7 years are growth, and then the next 7 years are maturity, and the next 7 years are consolidation, and the next 7 years after the 21st year are actually decline and death. Unless you can transform the business and then reinvent it, and then you go through that cycle again. But if you are in this death spiral, right, the best way to come out of this death spiral is actually to use micro influencers, right? Because they can kind of bring you those benefits of virality, right? If you have 100 micro influencers out there who are putting in a good word for you, something is gonna stick, and that something is gonna give you that uptick, and you get back on your feet again. Like I said, here at Avion, we work with a lot of small businesses, and we've actually helped them to create their websites, which in return, and also done their digital marketing. And what these two do is it kind of helps to bring more awareness to the business, right? We also help them create apps, and what apps do is actually it helps you churn your base, right? What apps do is actually it helps you to grow your existing accounts by increasing customer engagement. So if you have an amazing website with a lot of good digital marketing, that gets you the new business. If you have an amazing app, that helps you retain your existing clients and kind of engage with them. And both of these together helps you avoid the death spiral. So if you like my content, press like. If you want to subscribe, press subscribe. These are my coordinates, and we'd love to have a conversation. Avion Technology, Chicagoland area digital agency, and I'd love to hear back from you. Thank you.